Hello everyone. So today's topic is 10 crucial rules to put high performance board of directors in place. So in another video we discussed about what checks to do before joining any company as a director. Today I will be sharing my views on what checks the company should do before appointing a director. So just reverse of what we discussed earlier. Every company is required to have a board of directors, as one person who is a promoter founder cannot run a company with a single brain. The board must be in place when you start a company. To run the company needs a collective decisions taken by advice, counseling and accountability of all other board members. Board is responsible for directing and controlling the company, taking crucial decisions, that is whether to raise money, whether to do expansion by acquisitions, whether to hire a CEO, to do corporate restructuring. So no mistake in selecting the board members is ever admissible. Board can make or break the company. Increased regulations, stakeholders pressures and governance reforms have put immense pressure on the companies to have effective board members in place. Generally, board members are selected by the board and shareholders on the recommendation of nomination committee wherever it is applicable and formed, and board recommends the proposed director's name to the shareholder, who select them on the basis of requirements of the company, which can vary from company to company. Selection of board members is one of the most crucial and important tasks for any organization. The first and the foremost question one checks about the company is who is there on the board of the company. So why selection of proper corporate board is so important? It is well said that there should be tone from the top. Great leaders takes great decisions and leads to the great company. Generally, boards select the directors following informal selection processes, that is either from their close networks, investors representations, CEO recommendations, and very rarely hire the external agency or use database for selection. Selection of directors from close networks often raise to bias and conflict of interest, which is not good for any company. One size doesn't fit all. I would like to quote a golden words of Ms. Indra Nooyi, who was a Pepsi CEO, that board should be shaped, not stacked. Often companies stacks board by bringing the relatives and friends of board, but this does not help when the company is in bad shape or undergoing transformation. So there should be diversity in the board consisting of directors who can actually contribute through their experience, expertise, innovative ideas, can speak up and actually interested in attending the meetings and directing the company by investing their valuable time. Business does not happen in 4 to 5 board meetings in which directors can contribute, but their contribution should be continuous by their approachability for conversation on any business agendas round the clock. Devoting time is very important. Size, structure of the board, skill required for proposed board should be decided strictly. Company should have proper criteria for selection of directors, which should be assigned to nomination committee in many medium and large size companies. 10 golden rules for selection of directors on corporate board. So what are 10 golden rules? First is, normally there is a tendency to select the board member, director who are generalist, alike and similar in thought and processes and behavior. And there is a comfort level, which certainly is not a correct way to structure the board and often leads to the failure in the long term. The company should always aim at having a diverse board members possessing different personalities and skills, that is wide range of experience in field of strategy, finance, human resource, governance, legal, government expertise, marketing, production, branding, technology, globalization growth, board experience of different age group and gender, who can bring unique perspectives to the boardroom in the current macroeconomic and competitive context. That is framing a skill assessment matrix which should be updated regularly by the organization. Secondly, there should be a balance of all the skills depending on business and organization related needs, and there should not be any bent in single area. Any issue should be decided taking 360-degree view. A director of 35 years old age can bring more to the table due to updated knowledge in every field in comparison to 65 years old director. He should be a problem solver, a challenger, a strategic and a critical thinker. For example, the company is going to expand its business in China or Japan. So, company should have one board member who is an expert on the political working of these countries. Domain expertise is extremely needed. Second, there should be an odd number of directors in order to avoid voting tie and for taking effective and prompt decisions. Most desirable number of board composition is having 5 to 8 directors on the board in order to avoid struggle for getting floor to speak. It is found that small boards are more effective so that efficient directors can get entry. The third crucial rule is not only skill should be evaluated but their personality should be properly screened to ensure that they gel with the other board members, which is very crucial to avoid confrontation and offending others. This is the most important criteria for selection so as to work together as a team and yet be independent. Board members should be experienced to handle boardroom dynamics, dilemmas, and ability to devote enough time for reading materials, attending meetings, and his ability round the clock for taking any strategy decisions and possess good insight. Director having contacts for raising funds can be valuable addition. He should be capable enough to ask right questions. So proper interviews should be conducted to see the behavior pattern and aspect of any candidate. Sometimes candidate can be easygoing interview but can be very annoying in the group interactions. The fourth important rule is board members should be selected taking into consideration the legal requirements under applicable statutory acts of a particular region in which the company is formed or incorporated. That is regarding the eligibility of appointment of directors, conflict of interest policies, etc. The fifth important rule is there should be proper ratio of non-executive directors and independent directors for taking conflict-free decisions and effective decision making with proper term limits. The sixth important rule is board composition should be decided on the basis of control promoter wants to have on the board. That is, for more control, investors and independent directors should be kept less than the promoter directors, which again depends on the legal requirements of applicable statutory acts in particular region in which the company is incorporated. The seventh important rule is criteria for director holding directorship in number of other companies should be fixed so that adequate time can be devoted by each director. Desirable is to restrict it to one another company in case of full-time director and not more than 5 companies in case of independent director. The eighth important crucial rule is independent verification by the company about directors. Credential is valuable. The ninth rule is make sure about what kind of contribution directors can do in the company and their remuneration shall be determined based on the contribution to the profitability and the growth of the company. And the last important rule is company should always have director succession policy, planning policy, that is planning 3 to 5 years ahead along with the effective board evaluation process. Advanced planning for induction of directors should be in place in order to avoid crisis on the board. Board composition should be reviewed once a year to understand the correct needs and demands of the board in tune to the external demands. So utmost care and diligence is to be exercised in selection of the board members. Professional advisors who are paid by the company for their services will never question any strategy and process of board due to conflict of interest, and so should be avoided for the selection for the board seat. Further, friends, relatives should be strictly avoided as they are controllable, which is road to failure. Board members who can strategically think in a crisis situation or during expansion period and pave the road for the growth and development with their innovative ideas should be given a board seat. Thank you.